It's really amazing to have him with us here, coming to us from his home in Los Angeles. He is a gifted talent and, again, a real humanitarian, Ed Begley Jr. Now, just before we have him on, he's coming on in just a second. I just want to remind you, which I love to do, of his epic career. He has been with us for decades, entertaining and inspiring us with his gifts. And he's been on some of the most incredible television shows and movies and series. But again, he's been out there working so hard to inspire and empower and motivate us to think about the environment and about how we treat one another, which I think is so important. But taking a look at some of the amazing things of his career, of course, you remember him on Better Call Saul. Yeah. It's incredible. I could spend 4 hours just talking about his epic career, decades long, Golden Globe and 7-time Emmy nominated actor. Of course, his role, this was a great one too, stands it well on Arrested Development, 6 Feet Under, and also Dr. Jesse James in Hospital. How about Gil Buckman, Parenthood, bringing back memories for you, right? Also, A Mighty Wind, Battlestar Galactica. He's been a part of our lives for such a long time on TV, film. You turn your TV on and you'll see episodes of this, episodes of that with Ed Begley Jr. and movies galore. Pineapple Express, Whatever Works. This is just a short list, folks. For your consideration, Going South, Best in Show, She Devil, Eating Raoul. And, if you take a look at some of these, they're just incredible. Cat People and Book Club. Of course, best known for his role, one of the many things he's best known for, on Saint Elsewhere, Dr. Victor Ehrlich. You may remember we've had Bonnie Bartlett on our show from there as well. She was a wonderful guest, and he is, he's made some great friendships in this role. Howie Mandel, one of them, a lifelong friendship with Howie Mandel. But you may also remember him as Dr. Grant Linkletter on Young Sheldon, which was a really popular series on CBS, going all the way back to the days of Mannix and Room 222 and Mary Hartman, and B. Arthur and Maude. We love Maude. Matter of fact, we just had Adrienne Barbeau on our show recently, you may remember. And that was a great conversation. We talked about Maude and so much more. In addition to that, reality shows with his wonderful family, Living with Ed, which was another terrific one. I'm sure you're a big fan. On Begley Street. Yeah. Take a look at this cool photo we dug up too of our beloved friend, Ed Begley Jr., your friend and mine. Everybody loves him. And again, he's got this wonderful friendship with Howie Mandel that has stood the test of time. We're also going to talk about Begley's Best, some wonderful products that he has that are environmentally safe and can really enhance your life. He's got his whole company in that direction. He also is an author of several books too. And again, a guide to the eco-friendly life. You may already have that. If not, pick it up. Amazon and elsewhere. Living Like Ed. And also another great one, Ed Begley Jr.'s Guide to Sustainable Living. And here's another one. Yeah, you may have this in your collection. If you don't, pick it up. It's a great one to have. We actually have these in our collection. Here's the newest. And I love the title. It's going to tell us about it. To the Temple of Tranquility, and step on it. And there's a reason for that. And he's been stepping on it for years. And we're so happy to have him here. Here's the one and only Ed Begley Jr. Ed, welcome to our show. It's an honor, privilege, and a pleasure.
Jim, thank you so much for that incredible introduction. I really felt like I was somebody up to that. That was terrific. Very well researched. A lot of stuff I hadn't thought of. It. Some of it I haven't seen. The picture there from Mary Hartman. I've never seen that picture. Maybe 1976 or something I saw it. It's great to be with you, Jim. Thank you for having me on and for having those wonderful clips and stills. It's just amazing. I hadn't seen some of those pictures since the 70s, so thank you.
Mary Hartman, and Mannix and Maud. You have
Amazing.
been everywhere, absolutely. And of course, your father, Ed Begley, of course, a beloved actor in this industry as well. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. Did his influence sort of rub off onto you and influence you to want to go into the world of entertainment and acting, Ed?
No question. If my dad had been a plumber, I'd be fitting pipe right now. I just wanted to do what he did. But the problem with that is he made it look so easy. I didn't think I needed to train. I went, yeah, wake me when I'm famous, would you? Can I get a series out of this? Dad, can you call up and make a phone call and get me a TV show, would you? Like, A, he could do that, and B, he would want to do that if he could, because I would have been devoid of any gratitude, which was certainly part of my problem early on. I, I, I didn't have an attitude of gratitude, which I fortunately got a few years later.
Yeah, absolutely, and you do, and it's widely noted. And as I mentioned, you give back continuously, but you have been giving back to all of us for decades with all of these amazing TV shows and series and movies and so much more. And I know at one time you referenced an appearance on Room 222 as a pivotal time in your life when you really, you know, sort of really appreciated acting and what it was all about and being on that beloved show on ABC 222. That was pivotal for you as well, wasn't it?
It was the late 60s, early 70s when I worked on that show. And it's important to note that when you work with a crew like that and a cast like that, you start to get comfortable because it's the same people, the same cameraman, the same makeup man, the same sound guy, all of that. And so you start to get relaxed in front of the camera. That's a good thing, of course, to be relaxed in front of the camera, but it can also have a dark side to it. I spent the next decade or more being relaxed in front of the camera. By that I mean I had no zip, no nothing, there wasn't a lot of life behind my dead eyes when I would perform on camera. I did a little bit better on stage, at clubs like the Troubadour when I had a comedy act with Michael Richards. I was more alive then, doing improv. But when I would do a part, I would get very serious. I'd learn the lines as I should on both counts, but then I would just be kind of relaxed. Nobody wants to see a play or a TV show or a movie where everybody's relaxed all the time. You need to have some conflict, some inner life, something that goes on where you go, what's that guy thinking? What happened to him? What happened to her? And Sophie's choice, what happened to this woman Sophie? I hope I find out soon, and then you learn what her choice was, what happened to Sophie, and you see Joaquin Phoenix and you pick a movie, The Master, any movie he's been in. What happened to this guy, you think? How did he become the way he is now? These great actors that we have at this point in our film history, they're doing such great work, and I'm fortunate to have worked with a few of them and know a few of them, and I'm certainly the better for it.
Where do you think that relaxed nature came from? I mean, sometimes it could be advantageous that you are relaxed and you're not frenetic and crazy and stir things up. But where do you think the relaxation, the calm was coming from?
It was a reaction that the general tone of relaxation among many actors was a result of the acting that went on before that, where people were actors, they'd be on stage and you must project, of course, I understand that long before they had microphones for actors in a musical and a stage play, you would be acting. John Lovitz does a wonderful bit about it. And that's kind of true. And there's a time to be loud and be present and to take stage, but there's also time to be relaxed and calm and centered, because then the kind of equipment they have nowadays, you got a drone floating over here near your head, and then it backs away a little bit. Or in the old days, it's what they call a snorkel camera, just a regular camera, a Panaflex on a dolly, coming in super close for a tight shot, what have you. Just got to be totally relaxed and still talk to the person you're talking to, not worry about what most people who are for the first time in front of a camera, even some of them years in front of a camera. Well, the camera's right there. I don't want to freak out. I don't want to look at the camera. Oh, what's the camera doing? The camera, the camera, the camera, the camera. You don't want to do that. And some people are guilty of that, a far worse crime than being relaxed. But relaxed is the second worst thing you can be all the time, unless it's a character that is relaxed the entire movie. I don't know, it would be a very good movie if it's one of the leads. So you have to have that relaxation as your carpet of reality, and then from there you spike out and you do things that grab people's interest. And somebody great at that is Vince Gilligan. You
Oh,
see
yeah.
pants floating through the air in the desert surroundings, and then a motorhome blows past. What does that mean? Pants floating in the air, pair of khakis, and then a motorhome blows past them. What does that mean? You know, there's a lowrider car going, you know, on the hydraulic lift, and there's spent shell casings behind it. What does that mean? And then we learn what it means. What a kid's little kid's toy, a kid's stuffed toy floating in a pool with one blackened eye and the other completely gone, and the stuffed animal. What happened to that? Oh my God. Was Walter cooking meth at home now? Is that what happened? We
Mm.
later learned it was not that, it was something else, which I won't reveal in case the people haven't seen Breaking Bad. But, you know, you ask that big question in the film, a TV show, or stage play, and you let people, you want to tease them, you don't want to give them everything right away in the first act. You let them know what happened over time, as in Sophie's Choice.
Mm. Who were some of the people, in addition to Dad, who you were inspired by? Others in the industry who maybe you sort of watched how they were doing their thing, maybe picked up a few things. Were there others in the industry that you admired that sort of influenced you along the way, Ed?
You know, I had it kind of wrong there to begin with, but I was a teenager and I didn't know much at all about anything. But my dad once somebody asked me in the car, my dad was present, he was driving. Somebody else was in the car and said, well, Eddie, talking to me, who's your favorite actor? I went, oh, John Wayne, or I said something like that. And John Wayne's a fine actor, but my dad was a fine actor too, to not include him. Or I might have even said, some other matinee idol. I can't remember who I might have said, somebody like that. Rock Hudson, a fine fellow, but nothing like my dad's skill set. So I thought that's what was good acting, that you had a lot of people come to the theaters, you did good box office. So it's not necessarily one and the same. Then I grew and learned and what have you, and then I realized I was in the presence of greatness. My dad used to drive up to San Francisco with my sister Aileen and I. We would stop at this house with this boring old couple. We'd sit there bored to tears. And when are we going to go? Want to ride the cable cars? Let's get going to San Francisco. Why are we here in Santa Barbara? Come on, pick it up, Dad. Let's get out of here. I'm bored to tears. That person was Paul Muni and his wife Bella, the great actor Paul Muni from,
Oh,
a
yeah.
million, Fugitive from a Chain Gang, movies like that, great movies. I think the Louis Pasteur movie. But he was on Broadway stage with my father in Inherit the Wind, this great play, Inherit the Wind.
Yeah,
And they both won
absolutely.
Tonys for that.
He-
So that's great acting. And I was finally in the presence of it and recognized it and sought out people who were doing that kind of work, like Dabney Coleman, who's my dear friend for many years till he passed recently. Peter Falk passed a few more years before that, my dear friend Peter. And
mm,
people like Bruno Kirby and Joaquin Phoenix. And, I've gotten to know and work with the brilliant Meryl Streep. And, you had Bonnie Bartlett on. There's a fine, fine actress, a great actress, as good as any of the people I've mentioned thus far. Wonderful stage actress and film actress and TV actress. Just amazing, Bonnie Bartlett.
Bonnie Bartlett, spectacular.
Spectacular.
You also had an opportunity to be welcomed into the home of Maud, Beatrice Arthur, and not have her slam the door on you. Uh,
Right.
what was it? We had Adrienne Barbeau on recently, and she's a real delight. What was it like having that opportunity? Norman Lear, Bill Macy, B. Arthur, Adrienne Barbeau, to have that appearance on Maud, another great series.
It was the first episode, so it hadn't aired yet. We didn't know it would be a hit, but people suspected it would be, because Norman Lear is a great writer and a great showrunner and a great everything. But they got B. Arthur, and I knew she was a Broadway star, and I knew she was extremely talented. I'd seen some work that she had done on Broadway. So to be in the presence of someone that talented, I just hung on for the ride and tried to keep up with her. It was a small scene. It wasn't much at all, but she appreciated my attention to the work, and I certainly appreciated hers and her kindness with me. And Adrian, too, was so nice and welcoming to me. Bill Macy, and I got to know the other Bill Macy, William H. Macy, my dear friend, married to Felicity Huffman. And there's a great actor. Look at all he's done in Fargo and so many wonderful movies, and just a brilliant, brilliant actor. I got to work with the best, and I'm still learning from them.
Which is a beautiful thing to say after all these decades in this career. You're still learning and still a lifelong learner, Ed, and passing it and paying it forward, which I think is beautiful. There's a couple of names of people that you've had some amazing connections with. One is Bob Denver, who played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island. You know, he was in Dobie Gillis. His wife, Dreama Denver, is a dear friend of ours, and she was on our show several times, and she's a real delight. She looked at our set and she was like, "Jim, there's one thing you're missing." I said, "What's that?" She said, "You're missing a the Bob Denver Gilligan bobblehead doll." So she sent it our way. You had an opportunity to know and spend some time with the wonderful Bob Denver, huh?
I did. I'm so lucky to spend any time with him at all. Very funny man, very funny on camera and off. And I know I know his nieces and nephews, and I, I, I just think the world of him. We used to visit him out at Lake Sherwood there. The connection was that my father started dating the woman, wonderful woman who was the secretary of his agent. At his agent's office, there was a woman, Helen Denver, Helen Jordan actually, that she was married, but then since divorced. And she had two wonderful sons and a wonderful daughter. And I got to be friendly with them because they started dating and had a child and got married. And you know, I had wonderful Helen Goggins was the name when she passed away, but I had her in my life for a long time. But Bob Denver, I got to spend time with in quality time because of Helen, because of the you know the Denver family, the extended Denver family, and his mother was a real pistol too. I'll think of her name in a second, but boy, she was really something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Comes from wonderful stock for sure.
Yeah,
Uh, I mentioned Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. That was that time when Mary Hartman was on. Fernwood Tonight was on. I think they almost followed each other. How did that opportunity come your way to be on? It was a quirky show. It was a fun show. It was a really interesting. I don't think there's been anything like a Mary Hartman since. And you had an opportunity to be in that. What was that like for you?
it was great because suddenly I was, the work was good. Joan Darling directed a lot of them, and Norman Lear oversaw or wrote much of the script and material that we had, which was very, very good. Dennis Klein was the showrunner and wrote a great deal of the scripts, and very talented man, still doing incredible writing. Dear friend of mine. So I knew Dennis Klein was involved. I'd worked with him in a pilot for Columbia, and Norman Lear was involved, and other people that I didn't know Louise Lasser before that, but I knew she was great. I didn't know Mary Kay Place before that, but I knew she was great right away. We wound up dating, and I worked on the show for a while, and was just blown away by how original it was. And finally, I started to get what I wanted out of acting at that point. It was still early in my career. I hadn't quite gotten my priorities straight. I just wanted to be famous like my dad. So suddenly I'd be walking through an airport. Hey, wait, it's Steve. Is that Steve from Mary Hartman? Mary Hartman? Steve, hi. Can you take a picture with us? And so it was a big deal to be famous suddenly. I was not exactly a name actor, but I was a namette. And so I rode that as long as I could. Then I got on St. Elsewhere after that before the, whatever heat, minor heat, or lack of a chill there was in my career back in the mid 70s. You get into the early 80s, I got St. Elsewhere before any vestige of heat from that Mary Hartman experience died off. I was on St. Elsewhere, and then it's been clear sailing ever since because I work with the best actors, the best directors, the best writers. Bruce Paltrow oversaw the whole thing, and he was a great producer, a great showrunner. Mark Tinker, a great producer, a great writer, a great director. John Macias, John Falsey, just incredible. Tom Fontana, for God's sake.
Mm.
Great, great writers and great directors. So we were very lucky to have them all.
You've even got an episode of Beretta working with Robert Blake. What was that like?
I knew him a little bit. I think I met him before the show. Yeah, I did. And I got hired to be this guy with a trained dog who was supposed to perform some feat for the police to go get something or deliver something as a canine somewhere that was safe. And so the first day he fired the actress for which I had a scene uh, with. I can't remember who it was. And then Robert Blake himself just said, "You're fired. You get out of here," and he could do that. And then the next day, I came back again to do it, and they fired the director. I got a third day. I was just so grateful that I didn't get fired, and more importantly, that I got 3 days work out what I thought was one day. Robert kept firing people, and he did everything on the set himself. Not that the crew wasn't totally capable of doing it, they were, but he'd say, no, don't put that light over there. Give me that thing. Take that C stand. We're going to put the C stand here. The flag's going to go up a little bit higher. And put that light over. No, you're too far to the left. Go lamp right, that's it. Lock it off. Walk away from it. He was putting props in their place, flagrantly violating, property masters rules and IATSE union rules and all sorts of things. But he could do it. He was the star of the show, and he exercised that authority with great commitment.
Absolutely right, for sure. I can imagine. But of course, a beloved series still to this day. So to be a part of that is quite amazing. So many incredible roles, as I mentioned too. You were at an episode of Mannix, and also you mentioned Saint Elsewhere, which people still reference today as such a well-written, well-cast, beautifully shot show that had fun and humor and warmth and intensity. What was it like? I think Noah Wiley with ER was talking once about how you really had to know and study some of that medical jargon so it seemed realistic. An ensemble cast that was brilliant with you there, Howie Mandel, who you forged this wonderful continued friendship with, and he's meant quite a bit in your life all these years, which I think is a beautiful thing, and Howie's doing great things all the time. Tell us about the friendship with Howie and that wonderful experience on Saint Elsewhere.
I had the best time you could imagine on St. Elsewhere because I was finally in a show that was of great quality. As I said, great scripts, great actors, great directors. Everything about it was great. And my role was just a very small part. It was just like a two-line part that I thought might grow into something else, and it did. Keep in mind, I did not want that part. I wanted a part of Dr. Peter White. I auditioned for that and didn't get it. The part I got, as I said, was 2 lines, and hoped it would grow into something. And as I said, it did. Grew into one of the more popular characters in the show. But the show shows other character, Dr. Peter White, was discovered to be the hospital rapist who was part of a storyline in the second season of St. Elsewhere. And he was shot and killed, and shot in the groin first and then the stomach next and dead and gone in the middle of the second season. My character was in all the episodes but one, which was a flashback episode. Wasn't born yet. So whatever I've wanted in this life, Jim, has not nearly been as good as what I've actually gotten. That was the lesson from St. Elsewhere. And to know Howie, I know him still and be friends with him still. He's such a great guy, such a great friend. I was in a hyperbaric chamber the other day for a health thing to kind of feel, just to get greater health. A oxygen-rich environment can be very good
for
you.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in the hyperbaric chamber. It had a little window to it. And so I fall asleep in it, as I often do, because you feel so good. And I woke up to a picture of me in the hyperbaric chamber. I said, Ed, it's Howie. I didn't want to wake you. He somehow heard, he was not even in the health spa I was in. Howie's so great with that sort of thing. He heard some fans said, oh, it's so good to see you, Howie. And I love that Ed Begley, too. I understand you guys are friends. Where's Ed? Where did you see him? He said, he's right across in the health spa. He's right in there. He's in the hyperbaric chamber. So Howie will make a meal out of an opportunity like that, and he
of course.
Suddenly to wake up and see a picture, so in the hyperbaric chamber, by being stalked. Oh no, it's from Howie. God damn it, I'm going to get you, Howie. What he did to Stephen Furst, we were both dear friends of the wonderful Stephen Furst, now passed. But he played the most elaborate practical jokes on Stephen Furst. I'm talking about Howie now.
Yeah.
He would go in this case, a hardware store called Snyder Diamond in L.A. Went into Snyder Diamond to get some fixtures, and the guy said, oh, just had a buddy of yours in the other day. Just the same as encounter the other day with me, with a fan. And so Howie said, who was in here? He said, Stephen Furst. He said, oh, great. Give me your phone. What did he order? No, I couldn't do that, sir. I don't want to I promise you won't get in any trouble. If it's cost you anything, I will pay the full price, but it's not going to cost you a thing. Just tell me what he bought. I'm just going to play a joke on him. And they went along with it. So Howie calls up, Stephen's number, which he has anyway. But now has the order in front of him, and he goes, hi, is this Stephen Furst? And Stephen says, yes, who's this? It's Bill here at Snyder Diamond, and I just want to make sure that you want the pedestal to get into your hot tub. The what? The pedestal. You want a full 6-foot pedestal to get up in there. What do you mean 6 foot? What are you talking about? Sir, you ordered the pedestal model, you wanted a pedestal on it, and it's here already. We can't return it to the restocking fee of $1,500 if you don't want it, sir. I'm sorry, but you signed the paper. And he had this thing about he had in fact bought a hot tub, a portable kind of a hot tub, but Howie said it was like 6 feet tall, and Stephen first is arguing with the guy. He thinks it's the guy at Side of Diamond, but it's Howie, saying, I can't have a pedestal. It's only an 8-foot ceiling in my home. If it's a 6-foot tall pedestal, but with all that water, it won't be unsafe to have a jacuzzi up that high with hot water in it. My God, what happened here? And his heart, Howie nearly killed him that day.
Wow.
Fortunately, he didn't, so we got to work with him for years before he passed, about 5 years now. We love Stephen first, but Howie played merciless, wonderful, relentless practical jokes on him.
Oh,
and
boy.
I think he once listed his home for sale. It didn't have a bad ending. Nobody actually tried to buy it. But
he's remained a great friend to you all these years, huh?
all these years, I just went to his birthday party, which was one of the best parties I've ever been to in my life. Had all the top comics, all the top actors in comics in Hollywood. Everybody loves Howie, and I'm just one of them.
I tell you, yeah, and he's hosted game shows and so many incredible
He's
things.
done it all.
He's had some great opportunities over the years as well, which I think is fantastic. You know, your book, and congratulations on the book. I want to let folks know. Tell us about the title, To the Temple. I mean, look at the then and now, folks. He looks exactly the same.
Oh,
The blue
please.
eyes,
You're very
the blonde
kind.
hair. I mean, God. To the Temple of Tranquility and Step on It. I being an East Coast guy here in the New York area, especially like the and Step on It part. Tell us about the book. And it was your daughter, right, who said, Dad, I think maybe we should share some of these stories. It was your youngest daughter that asked you to chronicle some of your life stories and turned it into this amazing book, huh?
Her idea was not at all about a book, nor was mine when we first did it. It was just her iPhone and me telling stories into the camera so it would be saved, preserved for her sister and her brother, and for my grandkids, for the nieces and nephews. That was the idea. And then her arm got tired holding the phone forever, and the battery died, and so she took a break. And during that break, I thought, well, I'll start typing some things up on my computer just so she'll have them to supplement what she's recorded. And that's when it happened. The computer keyboard became like a Ouija board that actually worked, that had a real knowledge of things, because suddenly I'm coming up with these stories I haven't thought of in 50 years, Jim.
Yes.
5 decades, easily, I hadn't thought of it. It was like opening one of these doors to an ancient memory like that. Somehow the change in pressure in the hallway blew open other doors, and I'm suddenly in a room I haven't thought of, in years. A memory in the form of a room at this point. That's the way I looked at it. Just kept getting led into these different rooms by the experience of typing on the computer.
Absolutely.
And pretty soon I had written, without wanting to do it, a book. A guy had called me years before, a guy who was a publisher, an author's agent, a literary agent. And he said, would you like to write? I said, oh, I don't have much to say in a book, so if I ever have enough to say, I'll call you. And now suddenly I had more than half of a book, so I presented to him. He said, keep writing and let me know when you're done, because we can get a good deal out of this. And we did. It was published by Hachette, a wonderful publisher, still out there and selling pretty good. So I'm so grateful to have that stuff for my kids and grandkids and anybody else who wants to laugh, and a little piece of Hollywood history.
It really is. How long did it take to write it? Was it something that was a little each day you were writing it? And when did you know you were comfortable to put the last period on the last word of the last sentence and then send it out up in the air to the public? What was that process like for you, Ed?
From when I started writing supposedly for my daughter's, project, it was 3 months until I had 80% of the book written. Took me 3 months. Then it was another 3 months to do the remaining 20%. But right up to the last deadline, the publisher saying, "This is it. Now you can't send me any more changes. This is it. They're going to start, sending it to the people that actually print it. We can't change it anymore." right to that last possible hour of the last possible day. I was changing one. No, no, take that and out and put but. That was a mistake. I didn't mean to say but. I meant to say and. Just some little thing, some little punctuation, a comma instead of a period. I was doing that right up to the final hour of the final day. And now I'm praying that it one day has a second edition, because if it does, I got some changes in mind for them.
That is fantastic. That's great, and people have been responding to it, and it really, but it hasn't been, of course, your first book. You have written some others too in your wonderful repertoire, which I think is fantastic. We showed these earlier in the introduction. It's this wonderful love and appreciation that you have for the environment, right, Ed?
Very much so. You know, I was born in 1949 at Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I don't remember anything about the 40s, of course. I was too young, but I remember the 50s very well, and the 60s and the 70s. Horrible, choking smog. You couldn't run from here where I sit to my front door without wheezing like an asthmatic, and I'm not, but it's like everybody had emphysema. You just, hi, nice day today. Isn't it, Ed? Yeah, I'm having a good time. I was going to go for a run, but I think you couldn't breathe. And it was like that for 20 years. So when people said we're going to do something called Earth Day, and I asked, what does that mean? What are you going to try to do? They said, well, first we're going to clean up the air. We're going to clean up the water. I went, sign me up. Because I breathed the dirty air, and I knew about the dirty water because I lived close enough to the beach to go see what the Santa Barbara oil spill had done. I hadn't been there, but I'd seen pictures of the Cuyahoga River near Cleveland catching fire. I don't know about you, Jim, but I think it's a bad sign when rivers catch fire. So
That's yeah. You're right. Unless it's a
definitely,
special Fourth of July performance or something, that's
exactly,
about it.
yeah. So I got involved because they wanted to clean up the air and clean up the water. And there's enough bad news out there, Jim. Let me share some good news.
Right.
From 1970 to date, we have 4 times the cars in LA and millions more people, but we have a fraction of the smog. We did that by having cleaner power plants, cleaner automobiles. We all fought for that, and the Clean Air Act helped us do that, signed by Richard Nixon, voted for by a majority of Republicans. So it was a bipartisan effort. That's what we need to do. We need to come together and solve other problems that we have today, and stop endlessly being at war with each other.
Absolutely agree. 110%, my friend. You know, in that book, you pay homage, of course, to your wonderful father, the incomparable actor Ed Begley Sr., Oscar, Tony winner. And you mentioned earlier that he was a real influence on you. You also talk about meeting John Lennon and Yoko Ono as well. I mean, how cool was that?
Just part of this wonderful happenstance that occurred to me nearly every day, nearly every week of every year. Uh, Growing up, the son of Ed Begley, it was like a calling card that allowed people to feel comfortable around me, I suppose. I didn't know it at the time, but wow, I got a lot of friends. I wonder what that is. People went, oh, he's Ed Begley's son. He's cool. Let him in. And so I just had all these wonderful friendships, like Harry Nilsson was a dear friend. That's how I met the wonderful people, Eric Idle and the whole gang from Monty Python. One day when I wasn't meeting my Monty Python, I was having lunch with, you know, with Harry Nilsson, and he said, "Oh, you want to get together with Una and I, his wife Una and I? Let's get together tonight. I'm gonna have some dinner with some friends." I said, "Sure." And we took a cab over to the place we're having dinner, and I see it's the Dakota. He said he's having dinner with some friends. He doesn't mean, no, he couldn't mean. He would prepare me for that. Go open the elevator, open the door, knock on the door. Door opens. There's John and Yoko standing right there. "Hello, come on in. Who's this lad? I know him. What's your name, lad?" It's Ed. I'm just trying to barely squeak out my name, and my face is crystallized and turned into dust and fallen to the floor. I'm suddenly with John and Yoko at their front door. No housekeeper, no help, nothing. Just she makes some acrobatic meal. I'm sitting there trying to keep my composure. Like, "I know this lad. Where did we meet before?" And I go, "Well, you might know I'm an actor." "Oh my God, Matty Hartman, Matty Hartman." "Yoko, look, it's in deaf mute for Matty Hartman. What's Louise Lasser like?" He was suddenly he's a fan to me by extension because he was a fan of that show. And so he's asking me all these like fanboy questions about the show and Louise Lasser. And I'm just trying to keep my face straight. It was unbelievable. And that's another gift from the great Harry Nilsson.
You've had so many gifts, like you say, that have come your way. You dated Annette Bening, you mentioned in the book, and the wonderful Cindy Williams, who was also a dear friend, and we miss her greatly. Tell us about that and about Cindy. And did Cindy help with $15,000 at one time or something? There's a
She
story
definitely
there.
did. I wanted to buy a house, and a friend of mine, my dentist, Wes Joseph, kept saying, I can't afford to buy a house. He said, buying a house is a state of mind. You borrow the money if you have to, but you get in the house and you stop wasting it on rent every month. You have something called equity in the house, and just buy a house, Ed. You can do it. Went, oh, okay, I've got a few $1,000s. I had like 5,000 myself, or maybe 10, which was a lot of money back then. But that was not enough to buy a home in Hancock Park, which is where my first wife Ingrid wanted to live. A little tiny home, a little two-bedroom home, nothing grand. So I went to Cindy. I said, Cindy, there's no bad answer to this question, and my friendship is more important to me than a yes on this question. But is there any way you could loan me $10,000 so I could do have enough for the down payment on a home? Absolutely, Eddie. I have a feeling you'd be one of the few people that ever paid me back, which of course I was. And then I had to go back to it because ESCO required some more costs that I didn't know of. We were buying our first home. So Cindy, can I borrow another five? Another five. Okay, Eddie. Sure you okay? I'm not making a mistake here, am I? No, no, you are. And then I, of course, paid her back once because I got St. Elsewhere a short time after that, just a few years
Hmm.
later. And I paid her back, and she wouldn't take any money for interest, which was crazy
That's
because I was basically cheating her because inflation was 13% or something back then, the late 70s, early 2000s. You know, it was literally every year 13% inflation, so
it
the
was
money that you
unreal.
borrowed is worth 13% less.
All
So I was
right.
robbing her, but she wouldn't hear of it. She wouldn't let me give her any interest. So I gave her first child a special gift was the only way I could
Uh,
figure to begin to write it.
that's beautiful. She
She
was
was
she was so she was like that for sure.
so generous, so loving. Her kids are great. I see her kids still. This is remind me I got to give them a call. So thank you for that gift. But knowing her was nothing but one gift after another. A great lady, a great friend. She's like a sister to me. We never dated, but we went on one date in my
Yeah.
electric car, and I didn't get a second date after that. I hadn't fully charged the car. I think I was passing a kid was passing me on a big wheel kind of a outfit. A butterfly passed me by, I think.
I was gonna say, and
So
that was it.
that was it.
Yeah. She said, "Step on it."
Yeah, exactly. And there was no stepping,
There was no
no
stepping
no
on it.
peck.
Also, too, you talk about your friend Marlon Brando and how he once called you to his home to discuss a potential project that you thought was going to be an acting job, and it turned out to be something totally different.
Somebody up there, and they started to talk about it. I said, Ed, I have all the financing in place. I've got distribution. I've wanted to work with you for years, and this is something I think we could do together. This is a project I think would be well suited to both you and I. What do you say? He's got the financing, he's got distribution, a project well suited. Wow, of course he's talking about an acting job. Tell me what it is. Do you know how many volts an electric eel puts out? No, I don't. A couple of hundred, I'm sure, but no current, not a lot of current, because and only for a second. You see, this is why you're good. This is why I need you for this project. We're going to put electric eels in every home in America. I said, what do you mean you're going to put electric eels? Why would they, like in a moat as a deterrent to get people to leave you alone? What do you mean? No, we're going to you put an anode and a cathode in the water. You get all the, I said, you won't be able to light a hobbyist light bulb at a science fair with that. There's no harvesting electricity from electric eels, Marlon. What are you talking about? Why is everything no with you? You're so negative. You just never ever want to try new things. And he literally thought get you could harness the power from electric eels, which of course you cannot unless you're doing a test, in a like a an ocean veterinary center where you'd want to make sure the eel is still healthy enough to give a zap to a predator, but you're not going to, it's something measured in microamps, just no current that's usable whatsoever. And how would you get the current from the eel to the battery pack or whatever you have? But he had constant ideas. Some of them were like that, but some of them were very successful. He and Dr. Craven, I can't remember Dr. Craven's first name, but they invented something called uh, deep ocean water cooling. When you're in the tropics, as he was often, he had a an island in Tahiti called Tetaroa, and I'm still on the board of that wonderful Tetaroa Society with his family, with his wonderful, wonderful family. So I'm grateful for that. Rebecca and Miko and all of them are just wonderful kids. So, but that island is so beautiful. He wanted to preserve it,
Mm.
and so deep ocean water cooling, what it does is you have electric bill that's sky high. Okay, Jim. I mean,
Hmm.
really high because all that fuel has to be imported from the Philippines or somewhere, Hawaii. It's a long trip and it takes a lot of fuel to run a power plant, and it's diesel. So a kilowatt hour costs you like 70 cents. But if you can do most of the job electrically, which is cooling the food, the employees, and the guests, cooling is a big part of the electric bill. And you can do that with deep ocean water cooling by bringing the water up from a very low level and circulating it back after having cooled the people, the food of the employees. You save a ton of dough. And that's what
Mm.
he did.
That's what he did. Incredible.
A
In the
dear
book
friend. I
too,
miss him.
there's so many people that you've had an opportunity to have friendships with and play off of on television, film, and stage. Is extraordinary, and that's why people love you, Ed. You're gifted. You're a true humanitarian. You really care about people. You go the extra mile. You've even been very, very open and real and authentic about uh, dealing with Parkinson's in the book
I
as
want to talk
well.
about this. I got to let it'll just ring endlessly and the dog will bark. There's someone at my door. 1 second, my one
Oh, is
o'clock
that the door?
appointment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
let
Yeah,
me
we're
just get it.
here.
Sorry.
We're here. And there is his famous chair. We have a thing on our show where we get to see the guest's chair. And there's his beautiful chair. As the guests drop in here on the Jim Masters show, here's another great
Julie,
shot of Ed over the years, huh?
I'm still on the
Look at that
podcast,
shot.
but I love you. Come in and sit. Sit for a
We
minute if you
love
wish.
it. We love it.
I have a treat for
This
you
is
all.
great.
I'll see if she wants to say hello by voice
Absolutely.
or by face, but it's a wonderful actress, Julie Payne. The dog's going to bark a bit because everybody loves Julie Payne. Great actress that I've known for many years. I directed an episode of NYPD Blue, and the great Julie Payne was in it and made me look like a good director, which I'm not. But she's right here. I think she's off talking with my wife, Rochelle. But yes, back
Well,
to your
give
very,
her
very good.
our love, and she's welcome to the Jim Master Show anytime. I'd
Thank
love
you
to
for that.
celebrate her career as well. So many beautiful things we were.
Come in and sit down. Come in and sit down,
What's the
Julie.
dog's name?
That's Bunny.
That's Sunny.
That's Bunny, like a bunny
Ah,
rabbit.
oh, Bunny.
And she's not a bad bunny. She's a good bunny. She's a good bunny. I'm on with Jim Masters. And Julie Payne just come in, as I said, the brilliant actress, made me look good in this show, NYPD Blue, that I directed.
Well,
Thank you for that, Julie.
give her our
She's a
love.
goddess. I did improv with her for years. I
She's
did
amazing.
looping
Yeah.
for ADR group stuff for years. And this is Jim Masters at a wonderful talk show. And now I've shanghaied you and made
Hello,
you
Ms.
part of it.
Payne. How are you? And it's an
Hello,
honor
Miss
to.
Payne. How are you? It's in my hearing aid, but
We're sending love from the East Coast, from New York.
good. Sending love from the East Coast. But now you asked about Parkinson's. I'll answer any questions you have about that.
Quite a segue.
Isn't that? I know how to set up something,
You know
don't
how
I?
to set it up. You've been very open and honest. And what's beautiful about it is it could be inspiring to others who may be dealing with it as well, or any other medical situation. When did you first discover it? And how are you today, my friend?
I've had it since 2004. I didn't know I had it. I knew all this stuff was happening to me. I lost half my sense of taste and smell. I had trouble with my balance, and a few other things were acting a little funny. I'd occasionally tremble. Just my pinky would tremble just once in a while. But the balance thing was something serious. On one occasion, we took off from LAX. I had to work in Vancouver, and we got about 5,000 feet above the runway to start heading north to Vancouver from LA. And the plane suddenly pitches from the sky. It's no longer an aerodynamic vessel. It is a feathered brick that is dropping from the sky to the port side heavily and swiftly. And I go, oh boy, which everybody in the cabin in front of me turns around to look at me to see if there's going to be any trouble in the plane today, because nobody else is falling from the sky. The plane isn't falling from the sky. I'm the only one in my head falling from the sky because of my inner ear. I had never had an event like that in my life, nor had I had one that bad since. But that's the sort of thing was happening to me. But it went away. They gave me some medication so I could film, some scopolamine, like Dramamine kind of stuff. And I did and went on. And finally, a speech therapist at UCLA. I went to see her just one session, and she called my doctor up after it and said, I was looking at Ed Begley's chart. I just had one session with him, but I just wondered why you didn't put it on the chart. It's because you don't want the press to, get a hold of the information, but you don't mention anything about his Parkinson's here in his chart. To which my doctor responded, what did you just say? Parkinson's. Nobody knew I had Parkinson's. I didn't know I had Parkinson's, and she figured it out right away because she just went onto YouTube and looked at a video from 5 years before that date. This was 2016 that I finally discovered I had it because of this wonderful woman. It was still very mild, but you could look at a video current 2016, 2011, 2006, just keep going back 5 years at a time, and you could see I had my hand all the time like I had, like kind of like this. I'll stand up for a second, like I was holding a soft drink in it or something, but there was no soft drink in it. That's just the way I held my hand. I kind of shuffled my left foot, but still riding my bike over to Santa Monica at the drop of a hat, and that was my salvation. I exercised rigorously every day. Not knowing I had it was kind of a gift because I lived with it for 12 years before I was diagnosed. So I used that information to propel me forward to continue to live with it and know that even with it, you can still do a lot and have a great life. And medicine today is great. And then for extra credit, wonderful Rochelle has found these things like hyperbaric chamber, something called NAD, something called glutathione, good diet, as I said, vigorous exercise. All those things together have helped me be here now, these many years later. My God, this is 22, I think it is. It's 22 years later I've had it. And I'm doing very, very well. So if you are diagnosed with it, or suspect you have it, go find out more about it, get a good, proper diagnosis, and you can live with it and live a very happy, productive life.
And that is so beautiful and so happy to hear. And I know all the fans and viewers watching around the world are happy to hear that you're doing well, my friend. And, just one of the many roles you've taken on, and have dealt with. And it's very inspiring for many people who may have, again, something similar or other things in their life to see here's Ed Begley Jr. taking it on and tackling it and doing the best he can and sharing his story with everybody. I think it's so beautiful. Out of all of this too, briefly, is this wonderful product line that you have you and the family have put your heart and soul in. These amazing products. This is pet cleaner as well. Tell us about the desire to want to create products that are sustainable, products that actually are very helpful to the environment, to all of us. It's really an amazing thing. Begley's Earth Responsible Products as part of the Begley Family Foundation. I think it's a beautiful thing you're doing, Ed.
Well, thank you for that. They theorize, I don't know for certain yet, but they theorize that people with Parkinson's get it or get it more severely than they otherwise would have had by being exposed to toxic elements and head injuries. And unfortunately, I've had a good many of both. My mother dropped me on the concrete at Hollywood and Vine when I was 1 year old. Got pushed off a high, recliner chair onto the cornerstone of a fireplace. Head split open. It just caused some severe bleeding. But it was I had a lot of head injuries and very bad accident in Prague in 1994 where a guy ran head on into a dump truck. Very bad accident. So because of all that, I have had a lot of head injuries, and that can lead to it. So I've decided to do what I can to make for a non-toxic world. That has been my mission since 1970 anyway, but I have renewed effort to do so. And it's the last thing in the world you want is something toxic on the floor with your floor cleaner or on your pet or anywhere like that. Why? Because crawling around the floor, the pets put their paws in their mouth. Little babies crawling on the floor in the kitchen will put their fingers and thumbs and their toes in their mouth. You don't want to have anything toxic, so we have all these non-toxic chemicals that we use to make the Begley's Earth Responsible products, and they're doing quite well. And try them, but there's many other good ones there. You don't have to buy mine. Well, Bunny's saying, why are you saying that? Get them to buy yours, Noah. I'm going to say
Bunny is saying thumbs up for those products.
I hope so. But just go, seventh generation makes some great ones too. There's lots of other companies that make great non-toxic cleaning products. People are out there, and I'm there with you, protesting the hazardous waste site near their home. There's a hazardous waste site right in your home, under your sink. Get rid of all that crap and get good non-toxic products. Could be mine, could be somebody else's. and they're called Begley's Earth Responsible Products. Just go Ed Begley cleaning products, you know, and you'll find them.
Begley'sBest.com right there. And what's really
Now,
nice about all of this too is the products are individually designed and tested before to perform equal or better than corresponding non-green alternatives, and a portion of the sales benefit various nonprofit organizations that help the planet and its inhabitants as chosen by Begley Family Foundation. And all active ingredients are plant-based, sustainable, and rapidly biodegradable as well. Waterless pet shampoo, pet stain odor remover, yoga mat cleaners, hardwood floor cleaners. You can go to begleysbest.com to see all of it on the website there. Just another way that you continue, my friend, to give back and give great joy to all of us. What are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, Ed? All these years, all this love, all these incredible performances, everything that you continue to do for the good of all of us. What are those blessings and joys in your life that keep you motivated, excited, passionate, creating, and going forward, stepping on it?
well, I'll I'll give a long-winded answer on the next time that I appear on your show, which I hope is soon. But I've got the beautiful Julie Payne sitting right here, and I promised her I'd have lunch with her at one.
Is that
But I've
Julie right there? Hello, Julie.
I don't know. I don't know if she wants to be seen. Can I say? Do you want to say hello to the people or no?
Hello, people.
Hello, Julie. Jim
Hello,
Masters here.
people.
Love from New York.
Whoever you are.
Love from New York.
Whoever you, yeah, Jimmy Durante. That's right.
But I don't want to keep her waiting. But I find serenity in just, as Alan Watts said, remembering that this is it. This moment right now between you and I is all there is. You can be concerned about tomorrow and make plans. That's fine. But don't waste much of your time in tomorrow. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about yesterday. Live right in this moment, this one coming right now. And it's everything that you need. Not what you want, but everything that you need. So try to find that inner peace. I've been rushing to get to the Temple of Tranquility for years. That's a line actually by the great comic Dick Stahl. Did you know that? That title of the book is from Dick
Yeah.
Stahl. I give him to the Temple of Tranquility and step on it.
Right.
Our
And
mutual
step
friend
on
Dick
it.
Stahl actually said that in real life. He was at an ashram somewhere in Indonesia. It was called the Temple of Tranquility, and he had rushed to get there. So the irony of that line stuck with me, and I credit him in the book, of course. But I use that as the title of the book: to the Temple of Tranquility and step on it. And I'm gonna step on it now and keep
I
my
love
friend
it.
Julie Payne from
We
hitting
are
me with a
going.
book.
Absolutely. She'll give you the cane. You are a blessing. You
You
are
are.
an incredible gentleman. You are a gifted person on many levels. And let me just make sure I have you know that. And for speaking for all the viewers, we thank you for all of the years of entertainment, passion, speaking up for things that matter to you. And we always say to the guests, we keep the porch light on for them. So Ed Begley Jr., you have a home here at the Jim Masters Show. Would love to have you back and chat more. It was an honor and a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, sir.
I just want to say, make sure everybody knows it's not him that ran too close to my appointed time to exit. It's my fault. At the beginning, I didn't know how to turn Do Not Disturb on my phone, so we had all these calls come in. We lost the voice for a while, so we had to start the whole show over again. We're running late only because of me, not because of the wonderful Jim Masters. So thank you for your patience with that and allowing me to have lunch with the wonderful Julie Payne. I'll be all the richer for it. And we will talk again and soon, I promise, pal. Thank you.
You are very, very welcome. Thank Julie for her patience, and thank you for
Thank you for
joining
your
us.
patience, Julie, he says.
Thank you very
no
much.
problem.
Enjoy an amazing lunch.
We will have that, I can promise you. Okay,
And
buddy.
I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, sir.
Always. Let's do it again.
We shall. You be well. You take care, okay?
You too, buddy.
Thank you, Ed. Ed Begley Jr. joining us here on the show, getting ready to have lunch with Julie Payne. That's kind of nice. That was her off in the corner there. She just dropped by, and they're going to have lunch. Another day in the life of Ed Begley Jr. Again, he has been a part of our lives for such a long time. And what a wonderful conversation, right? Yeah. What he was talking about was in the beginning, there was a little bit of a technical glitch. You guys didn't see it, but his Wi-Fi sort of dropped out, so we had to start the whole show again to make sure everything was smooth. And what a trooper! He said, "Jim, I want to come back on and start it from the beginning, and we'll just roll, and we'll do some extra time." And that was very generous of him, right? He's a good guy. Ed Begley Jr. Again, you know him from so many incredible television shows, movies, and of course his books. This is his latest, To the Temple of Tranquility and Step on It. In the book, he is raw and real about his life. He talks about so many incredible topics. He shares a foundation of and a fountain of hilarious and poignant stories throughout his life. And the memoir is candid and it's endearing. And in one chapter, he talks about that Marlon Brando story. He also talks about, well, I don't want to give it all away, but he talks about some really cool things. I guess, let's see, what would be something else that I can mention? Well, he talks about his friend, the late activist Cesar Chavez. Yeah. And he also was a pallbearer at his funeral. Amazing. He talks about going through a period of substance abuse, alcoholism as well. He started his career with a guest spot in 1967 on My Three Sons, which he absolutely loved. And you may remember we've had Stanley Livingston on several times. He's a dear friend of the Jim Masters show, and we think the world of Stanley Livingston. And also Barry Livingston, his brother, was also, they stopped by our show. He stopped by as a guest as well, which was really fantastic. We had amazing conversations. He also talks in the book about an encounter with Charles Manson. You really got to pick up the book. It's amazing. In addition to the book, like I mentioned, he has this wonderful company that creates all of these healthy and environmentally friendly, sustainable products. And you can go to begleysbest.com to learn about it all. And this is just one of the many, many, many products that he is creating, which I think is a fantastic thing. begleysbest.com right there on the screen. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, drop a comment right below. Let us know what are some of your favorite Ed Begley Jr. stories, memories, TV shows. We talked about Bonnie Bartlett, who was with him on St. Elsewhere. She was a guest right here on the Jim Masters show. You could scroll back in our archives and you can see that episode. It was spectacular. We had such a deep conversation. That's what we do here, conversations, not really interviews. We had such a great conversation with the incomparable actress, Bonnie Bartlett, and Adrienne Barbeau was just with us. And we talked about the episode that Ed was on, Maude, when B. Arthur opens the door as Maude, and there is Ed Begley Jr. So many great memories. Young Sheldon, we mentioned as well, and Mary Hartman. This just scratches the surface. As I mentioned, She-Devil and Eating Raoul, Book Club and Cat People, and of course, the incomparable role as Dr. Victor Ehrlich on the one and only Saint Elsewhere, which is a terrific, terrific series. If you have not seen it, I'm sure you can see it online. You can see it on the nostalgic channels. You can probably see it, get DVDs, Blu-rays of it as well. It's one of those great series. Battlestar Galactica, Dr. Jesse James, Kingdom Hospital, and Parenthood, another great one. A Mighty Wind, as I mentioned, 6 Feet Under. Just his career. There he is. This was a great role. Stan Sitwell, Arrested Development, Better Call Saul. The list. Do you remember when they did the reality show on Begley Street? That was terrific with his family as well. Cool stuff, right? The list, we could do a 2-hour, 3-hour conversation with him because there's so much he's done. This is a really good shot of him as well over the years. Really cool where he talked about in the early years, he was very calm, almost sort of serious, very calm in his roles, which actually could be a good thing. But he found a way to be able to juice it up a little bit and put some more of that passion in, which I think was a great thing to share with us here on the Jim Masters show as well. Oh, yeah, he was in For Your Consideration as well. Wow, For Your Consideration is this episode of the Jim Masters show. How cool was this, right? To have an iconic legend and a blessed figure in the world of television, film, and stage and so much more on our show. The one and only Ed Begley Jr. here on the Jim Masters Show. Loved having him here. Loved having you here as well. Of course, our broadcast coming to you from New York. Yeah, always a pleasure to have you guys here. And we thank you for joining us on the show. Please do subscribe and like and comment and share some of your love with us here at the Jim Masters Show. We love when you do that. It means the world to us. And again, if you enjoyed this episode with Ed Begley Jr., or you want to check out all those other episodes, there are hundreds and hundreds of them, certainly let us know. Take care of one another, be good to one another, and love one another. Ed's a big believer in that as well. And come see us again. Many, many more episodes, celebrity friends and guests. Stop by the Jim Masters Show Celebrity Talk Show series for all of you. Great show. Thanks for all of your time as well and spending the time with us here. We love having you here. So again, like, comment, subscribe, comment below. Don't forget when you subscribe, make sure you click that notification bell icon so you can be alerted about great shows and great episodes like this one with the one and only Ed Begley Jr. Boy, I have a lot of fun doing this series, hosting, producing the Jim Masters Show for all of you, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have guest suggestions, let us know. Drop a comment. Who would you like to see on our show? We've had hundreds and hundreds of great people here, and always welcoming more. Ed will be back. He's having lunch with Ms. Payne. How cool is that? I wonder what they're having for lunch. Cool stuff. One of the good guys and a true humanitarian. Now you're going to take a look in the archives of television and see all the movies and the TV shows and everything he's been in. It'll take you days because he's been in so many, and he's a gifted actor. And our gift to you is more of the Jim Masters Show. Stay tuned. Another great episode comes up in just a moment, everybody. All right, we love you all. Thanks for being with us. Jim Masters over and out for this episode. Another one coming right up. We'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Be well, and cheers.